Hey everyone, I hope you're well, playing and or making the games that you love. You're joining me, your host, Max Pears. But not just me. I'm joined by a fantastic guest, the Mr. Kolbe. How are you doing, sir?
Doing pretty well, man. How are you doing today?
All good. It's just the morning for me, so we're just started. So it's only starting off well because I get to hear your voice, and then, it can only get better from here.
Right? Yeah, it definitely will.
Yeah, that's it. Keep the positive vibes, man. Keep the positive vibes. So you're joining me all the way from the United States. So obviously a bit of time difference, but we got to manage to get this worked out and all set up for the call, mate. So I'm glad that you're here, and I'm happy for this episode as well. And for those of you, the listeners who don't know much about you, do you mind telling people like who you are, mate?
Yeah, for sure. My name is Kolbe Payne, and currently I'm a campaign level designer at 343 Industries, working on Halo Infinite. So awesome. I've been in the industry for about almost coming up in a year now. So it's about 2 weeks before graduation, I got the call and say, hey, we'd like to offer you the job. And I packed right on up and got to Washington real quick just for that.
Awesome, man. So I guess then, because a lot of people are, who listen to this want to break into the industry, and, for you to get the job 2 weeks before you graduate, how did it all come about, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah. So I started my senior project about 2 semesters before I graduated. I realized the games we were working on just for school wasn't going to break me into the industry and get me noticed. So I just kind of put those on the back burner and still did the required work, obviously, just to impress my colleagues and professors. So I started pumping out levels and certain designs on my portfolio to get that I actually cared about and I could put a lot of time and effort into. So I just put my portfolio right in the front and then just did the schoolwork. I'm not saying you should put your schoolwork behind, but I knew from what we were making, because we were working on this game for 2 semesters, it's not going to get noticed or be good. So I just decided, I think we all decided that hey, we're making this game to graduate, but let's all make sure you do side projects to showcase your skills and get noticed and do what you actually like to do. So that's what I did.
No, so I think that's a really smart one, because I had a similar fear, and there's other people I've had on the show who had a similar thing. Is your schoolwork isn't going to be the thing that helps you, as you said, get noticed in some regards. You've got to go out and do different amount of works, because a lot of times portfolios end up looking the same. Yeah. And I'm wondering then, mate, so what is it that you focused on for your personal work instead then?
If you look at my portfolio, I do a lot of first-person shooter level design. So that's I've always grown up playing Call of Duty, and I was a big Halo fan, and it's pretty cool to work on Halo now. But I just started to just look at, I believe Black Ops 2 is my favorite Call of Duty. Treyarch has really good level design in that game. So I tried to study their levels, and I played that game so much, but I just studied their levels and their layout and how they do the 3-lane. I believe Call of Duty is really good for 3-lane maps. So I tried to mimic that and put the 3-lane maps into my level design and just build around that.
No, that sounds awesome then, man. So when you're breaking these maps down, you mentioned Treyarch does good level design, and I agree with you. What is it that you were looking for when breaking it down? Because I imagine that you said you played it over and over. Was there a certain map that inspired you?
Yeah, what I look for in the Treyarch maps is definitely looking for that 3-lane. A lot of them, some of their maps, even on Black Ops 2, really do show, if you just look at the top-down view of some of their maps, that they show the 3 lanes easily. So it's the Treyarch Black Ops 2 maps are a really good starting point to just be able to notice and see how they do their 3-lane maps. What really stands out with their maps is, aside from the 3 lanes, you can see the certain other routes around the 3 lanes to get higher vantage points or flank the enemy. So I think that's what really got me into the love of first-person shooter level design, is just noticing that 3-lane and then seeing how Treyarch got to build upon the 3 lanes and just make great maps. If you look at Raid from Black Ops 2. That's one of my favorite maps there. You just look at the top-down view. You can easily see on the right to the big open area, but then just look right at it. There's the 3 lanes easily noticeable, but multiple routes within those 3 lanes to give the player an advantage over how they want to out maneuver their enemy.
Yeah, awesome, man. I guess with the 3 lanes as well, is there anything else that you noticed to help? Because obviously Call of Duty is very much fast-paced action. I didn't play Black Ops 2. I played the first Black Ops. Mm-hmm. In terms of, I guess, making sure that you have those kind of encouraged, your players to meet in those kind of lanes, is there a way that you use that to help push that?
Yeah, I would, just looking back on Raid, Treyarch does a good job at their maps. They look different in each area of the 3 lanes. Mm-hmm. So on one side you have the swimming pool, so it's a giant landmark, so the player knows where they're at. And then on the right side, it's a big open circle of kind of like a parking area. So they do a really good job at showcasing each lane in their map with different landmarks. So that can I like to use that, and when I design levels, certain landmarks that are different than the other side to kind of flow the player and make them think that I'm able to outmaneuver someone here because I know the layout, because they're just completely different. They just look different from on each side of the 3 lanes.
Awesome, man. And then, so when you were working on your stuff, how did you go about with, applying? So you just apply for jobs? Did you go to any networking events? How did it all start from there?
When I started looking for jobs near graduation, I wanted to go to GDC, but man, that's just too much money for a poor college student. Yeah, it's very expensive there. So I wanted to do that, but I decided to just stay back and just keep working my portfolio. What I did was I just kind of looked for level designer jobs online, and if a certain studio popped up that I really liked, of course I'd apply for that. To be honest, I just applied to anything that said level designer because I wanted to just break into the industry. Yeah. So I got turned down multiple times. I had almost had an internship with Treyarch, and then they said I was the top 14, the top 14 finalists for the internship. Oh wow! But ironically, me and another level designer at Halo, his name's Nick Verducci, he got as far as me through that Treyarch internship and got turned down, and then we both ended up at 343, which is, I think, it's kind of funny. But
yeah, that is pretty much.
Yeah, but he's a good guy, and I wish him all the best because he's currently going to High Moon with a full-time level designer. So
awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of him for that. But going back to what I was applying, I just applied to everything that said level designer. I just I don't know how many applications I put out, but I put about more than 30 and got denied quite a bit just because it's really hard not having a lot of experience, especially right out of college. But there are some places that will notice you because of your portfolio. So I ended up applying to 343, and then it all worked out from there. Awesome, man. It is I see a lot of people on Twitter, they get pretty discouraged because they're applying and they get as long as you get an interview, it's that's awesome. Even if you get denied, you're still good enough to get noticed and get in there. Just depends on how you what kind of person you are in the interview and whatnot.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. I think that's always the bit that's not mentioned enough. When I was starting in the industry as well, the amount of either rejections or just no responses I got from applying places, it's definitely more than offers I ever got. So I agree.
Oh, for sure.
It's one of those things where, you said it best, you just can't get discouraged. You have to keep applying because otherwise you'll never get noticed. And I think with the great thing with Twitter and all these other social medias is you got an even bigger chance now to get noticed. I see some, aspiring level designers putting up their levels from day 1 to day 30, or the iterations going through it. So I always think that's really, really cool and really important to do as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. I really enjoy seeing all that stuff on Twitter. I love looking just through the level design hashtag and seeing what people create, and even seeing what they start with and then what they end with. That's the best part of that. Oh
yeah, I agree, because it can just change, and I think that's one of One of the things I don't think it's always mentioned enough is how important iteration is, because what you start with versus what you end up with can be so vastly different, but also it takes those iterations to get there. You don't just make it good on your first try.
Oh yeah, 100% agree. Like all the stuff I've designed has never been like, once I finish it, it's never looked like that when I first started blocking out or like even sketching it out on paper. Because it all depends on the level, like the level layout and the player flow and like certain cover objects, and that's how you push the player through the space. It's always going to change.
Oh yeah, and then by the time when you actually give it to someone to play test and they never play it how you intend it, that's always, I mean, that just happens 9 times out of 10. And then you just learn, oh, okay, they didn't go the way I wanted to go because of X, Y, and Z, and you change it around again, and that's just fine. That's just normal part of the level design process.
Oh yeah, I believe I had on my portfolio. It's called the Forest Hills map. It's one of my, I don't know. I feel like it's the map that got me into the industry. Just because when I was going through the interview process at 343, my team lead was just straight railing me on like, well, why is this here? What's this? And he just kept asking all these questions. I'm like, holy crap, I've never even thought of that. But I pulled through and just explained everything the best that I could. But that map, I'd just gone through many play tests and iterations. And I think the one big play test was like, I had a buddy play it with me and he was just camping in the corner and I wasn't able to flank around the way I designed it. So I had to completely redesign it and like raise it up, put it on a hillside. So it's just completely changed. So everything will change as you design a level.
Yeah, man. That's a good point you raised there. So how did you change to stop that? What did you do in order to make sure that someone didn't camp there anymore?
With that map, let me pull it up real quick just so I can look at it because I have a top-down view. So with that, I changed, like I said, with the height, because I didn't have any verticality in some of my maps, and verticality is in some areas is pretty good. So you don't want just a flat level. It's definitely not fun for the player, or even just not good, not the best level design, especially for like a first person shooter. You want some verticality so the player can choose where they want to be and how they feel comfortable, like holding a position. But that map just completely shifted for where that corner was just completely up in the air and then 2 hills up to it. So the player wasn't able to like see both sides that where they were camping. So just the verticality changed that, like it made it so much better instantly because it was too hard to watch 2 areas when you're above them and you're not able to see as they come up. So that place definitely changed right there.
At Level Design Lobby, we believe everybody has a story to tell. Hobbyist or student, freelancer or veteran, we made it our mission to unite those who share our passion for creating and developing great games. Thanks to our generous Patreon backers, we've been able to do just that. So if you've already pledged your support, thank you. If not, you too can ensure the future of Level Design Lobby, helping us to create even more exciting content, collaborations, interviews, and much more. With awesome perks and rewards, whether you're a seasoned professional or just getting started, you're sure to find something for you. Want to share tips, tricks, and advice with passionate, like-minded developers? Our awesome community Discord has you covered. Fancy practicing your level design, creating strong portfolio content, and having fun? Then try our level design weekends. Or perhaps you want to individually discuss your work, hone your skills, or level up your career? Then consider our one-on-one mentorships. If you share our vision, then go to patreon.com/Level Design Lobby for more information and to pledge your support. Thank you.
It's amazing how verticality can change things. Like me and friends were chatting about how even just raising like an area just by 1 meter can change a feeling and break up like the line of sight, as well as just making movement feel slightly more interesting than just having a flat area. I agree verticality plays a big role in it. One of the things that I always say is like, if you want the player to feel like weakened, put them lower to where the enemy is, because it's easier to shoot down than it is up. You learn more about it as you go through and you speak to other people, but just small tweaks can make such a huge difference overall. It really is insane.
Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with that. There's some points when even I'm playing games, like when I feel lower, like you said, when you're below the enemy, you just feel underpowered and like a lot of times you're going to lose, but most of the time, sometimes you can win. Just depends on like the player's skill with that. But I definitely agree with the height variations definitely play a key role in certain shooters and whatnot.
I was gonna say then, mate, since like, you're broke into the industry and you've obviously been learning a lot because you're at a fantastic studio. With regards to, I guess, then what has been some of your biggest takeaways in terms of how you see levels now?
With that, I'd say never get married to your levels because they can always they can always be cut or completely changed the way how you wanted it to. So like you can never be 100% like this is the level that will ship the game or whatnot. So just never be married to your levels and just know that they can always change depending on feedback you get from people that play it, from play testers, QA, any people that play it. Like, especially now, like a lot of stuff has changed through my level design process, even on my personal work. Like I'll have a lot of people play test it and a lot of stuff will just completely change from what I wanted originally. But that's how great levels are made, is just through feedback and iteration. And you have to be, as you get into the industry, since I'm still fairly new in it, you had to be open to feedback, even from like your team lead or your peers. Like, it's really good to accept the feedback and adapt and then just iterate on it in a timely and a positive manner. Yeah. That's what gets you noticed, like even inside the studio, like to be like, wow, Kolbe totally just like took that feedback and he just completely changed it. Now it's way better. Like a certain area or a vantage point, like it's not doing a good call out for the player, and just talk with people around you and then just iterate on that feedback, and then they're like, wow, you did a great job on that. Thank you. So never be married to your designs.
Yeah, mate, like that's one of the things that never changes is, like you said, what you start off with when you first are creating the early stages of the game to what ships can be very different, and it's normal. I think, like you said, don't be married because don't take it personal. It's not 9 times out of 10, it's not cut because it was bad. It was cut for other reasons there, production time, schedule, money, all of those things play a factor into it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you never know. And so, and also what you're saying with the feedback as well, with doing it with a positive attitude, is it's normal. No matter if you are like a senior with over 10 years to, a junior, there's always feedback and there's always things changing. And no one says it to be a horrible, or, well, hopefully not. Hopefully people are telling you why that this needs to change. And that, plays just a massive role in making your levels better. So yeah, I agree with you, mate. Just keep it up, listen to it, and enjoy getting it better. It's always nerve-wracking, I think, for people when starting. Like I remember myself, like I used to get really nervous about feedback. Just because you're like, oh shit, like what did I do wrong? Mm-hmm. But it's okay because that's how you learn. And you eventually, after a while, you're just like, okay, yeah, makes sense. All right, I'll do this. Because it's just how it gets done and how it gets better. Exactly.
It's like, that's just how it works, especially in like a big studio, because the whole studio makes the game. It's a whole team. Like the whole team makes the game. Doesn't matter if you're like not physically touching the game or whatnot, but like the whole team makes the game, and that's what this makes good levels and everything like that. So I definitely agree that I think I was pretty, like when I was making my FPS Boys game, I was kind of blunt with feedback. I was like, wow, they don't like this, like, but this is good. But then in the back of my mind, like you still got to accept the feedback and then like iterate on it. So that's why a lot of my maps have changed from what I wanted them to be, because it's not that the areas were bad, like you said. They're just what's best for the player and player flow. That's what's going to be the best part of your level for that.
Oh yeah, mate, for sure. And the best part is when you start to get the feedback, is when you pay attention and listen. The next time you make a level, you might not get the same feedback again because you've learned and be like, oh, okay, yeah, now I'm looking out for this moving forward. I know that I can improve now. So, and that's what you find, like, especially with more experienced level designers, is that they still get feedback, but the only reason it's less is because they've received so much feedback in their careers already. Mm-hmm. And that's just how it all, eventually comes together.
Yeah, 100%.
And I was just saying, mate, so with, now that you work in a professional environment and that, like, how has it been different to your school? And what is, going to say, some of the biggest differences? Because I don't think school necessarily prepares you, just because it's different, you're doing it for an education as well as to break in. But what are some of the big differences you notice, mate?
I think the major difference is the amount of bugs that come. I think that's like the biggest difference. It's just the amount of bugs that can come out of something so small. And like professionally, you're like, holy crap, there's a lot to do. But like in school, the biggest team size I had was maybe 12 people. And like everyone knows everybody and like what they do. But then like in a professional environment, it's a lot bigger teams. And we do like daily stand-ups, of course. And then sometimes you don't even know who the person is that's talking. But so I think that those are the major differences, the amount of bugs and just the amount of people. Like it's just a big change from school going to professional. But I wouldn't trade it for the world because it's definitely a great opportunity that I had to join 343.
Sure, man. No, I'm sure it's an amazing studio to learn from. And, I know everyone's excited for the next Halo, but obviously we won't talk too much about that because I don't want anyone getting in trouble or anything like that.
Right.
But I was going to say then, so what do you, now that you're playing, making and playing games again, how do you find playing games? Because I have to like stop myself sometimes from just, breaking things down or pausing it and being like, oh, I see how they did this. This is awesome.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you've heard of like dev goggles.
I heard it called like that. That's a brilliant phrase.
Yeah. I think it was my team lead that like, he's like, I've been playing these new games and I got to take my dev goggles off so I can just enjoy the game for what it is. Cause obviously it's a different studio, different people making it. But like sometimes you want to put your dev goggles on and just, like you said, see how they did it and see what they did to just make something really like something that works. But when I play like a lot of single player games, I'll try to take my dev goggles off and just enjoy the game for what it is, especially if it's like a series I love. I'll definitely just play it for what it is and enjoy it. And then maybe go back and play and see how they did it and see what they did. And to maybe just take some stuff from that and implement it into what I want to design.
Yeah, man, there's always so much to learn. And your lead put it best there. It's like, it's different people and it's a different game. So you have an idea, obviously when you're playing the game, what the core pillars may be, but you never fully know unless you were in the team, really. Everyone's got different ways of making, which is what's one of the most exciting things about being in the game industry. And I guess then it was like, is there anything that you're playing at the minute that you're really enjoying?
I was playing the new Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
Oh, right, yeah.
That game's great. I love Dragon Ball and all that. And just to finally have an open world Dragon Ball game is really fun. And then they added I literally think it's just like copy and paste of the Dragon Ball Xenoverse fighting, like type of fighting in it. And they just put that for the fighting and it works so well. But I think the main game I've been playing, like after I'm done designing, it's just a mind-numbing game to play is Overwatch. Like Overwatch, like it's a different type of shooter, obviously, because it's like the hero base and then the objective payload and King of the Hill stuff. But I think Blizzard really knocks out of the park with their levels and how they design, like especially the payload one. So that's really fun to just play and just relax on. So I think Overwatch is the main game I've been playing. But I'll play that late at night when I'm done, when I'm like exhausted of designing my own work because you're working, making stuff, and then you come home and still make stuff. And sometimes you just got to relax and enjoy yourself sometimes.
No, I agree. That's sometimes the best thing to do is just take some time away and just, like I said, turn the mind off with it. For it. But yeah, man, I've been enjoying it because I just picked it up for my Switch. And now obviously there's a difference there because I play it primarily on PC. Mm-hmm. But as you're saying, just like the levels for that, Blizzard do just have a seal of quality that they just get it right with so many of their games. for it in that. I just noticed the time here, mate. So we're going to start wrapping up because it's, as I said, there's a big time difference between us, and I don't want to keep you up.
Oh yeah,
for it. But I guess if anyone's got any questions or any way to reach you, how can they do so, mate?
They can follow me on Twitter. It's just Kolbe Payne. I can spell it for you if you like.
Well, there'll be a link in the description down below. But yeah, no, that was awesome. Is there anything else you want to give a shout out for, mate?
No, I don't got nothing for you.
You just got your voice, mate, and that's all I need.
Exactly.
Awesome then. All right then, mate. Well, thank you so much for joining me on the show, man. It's good because I know we've been planning this for about a couple of weeks now, so I'm glad to finally have you on the show, buddy. Hopefully, you're more than welcome to come on again. I'd love to have you on again, mate. It's been absolutely a blast just chatting level design with you.
Yeah, I'd definitely love to come back. I'd really appreciate you reaching out to me and inviting me on because I have been listening to this for a while, and I was like, fuck yes, he asked me to come on. I'd love it.
Well, mate, like I said, it was just great chatting with you on Twitter, man, and here, I really just enjoy chatting with you. So I'm sure we'll get you on again in the future, mate. If you've got anything you just want to talk about, just hit me up and we'll get you on again.
Sounds good.
Awesome. For those of you who want to get in contact with me, you can do so through email, which is leveldesignlobby@gmail.com. Or if you want to get in contact with me through Twitter, it's just @MaxPairs. So thank you very much for joining us, and we will catch you all next time.